Well, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for being here today. My name is London. I am a new programs coordinator here at Swipe. I am really excited about this topic and discussing, what solutions we could be implementing on all of our individual campuses to be addressing food insecurity during breaks. As the title says, hunger does not take them. And it's really important that we are being intentional about the programming that we have available and just having those steps in place in advance. So, really excited about that. And on a personal note, as a student who stayed on campus during all of the breaks while I was in undergrad, I'm really excited to hear about some of the feedback that some of your institutions have and what's worked on your campuses. So, as we get started, um, here's a little brief outline of our agenda for today. We're going to hear from Jamie. We're going to talk more about this topic and more full and how the toolkit that we have can really help in giving you some tangible resources and ideas on addressing this in your own lives. And then we're going to have a brief presentation from Quadient about the refrigerated locker system and our exciting Giving Tuesday announcement. And then we'll wrap up. But just to get started, we're going to hear from our executive director, Jamie, about the topic today. If we could give it up for Jamie, we'll transition over to you.
I love this. In my mind, it's like applause walking into an arena with hundreds of thousands of people. That's what my walkout inside music is. So thanks. It's nice to see so many familiar names on this call. Appreciate you being here. In case we haven't met before, my name is Jamie Hansen. I'm the executive director of Swipe Out Hunger. I've been with the organization just over 3 years. And if we have met before, I'm going to repeat this intro again. So you just sit back and relax and enjoy it. Like many of us at Swipe, we just heard from London, who has extensive food justice experience, by the way, might be new to Swipe Out Hunger, not new to this sector. Uh, Many of us at Swipe Out Hunger have experienced food insecurity in higher education, which is why we're here. We feel passionately about this. And I imagine many of you here on the call have a personal experience in TIA as well. What I think is so exciting is the solutions-based work that Swipe Out Hunger has already been involved in. All of you every day put in the hard work. So first off, mad props. Thank you, thank you, thank you. In this kind of environment that we're living in, this time of year is very tough. So I just want you to know how much we see you, we appreciate you, and we're here behind you, championing you on. So thank you. Hope when I say that you hear like cheerleading in the background, like pom poms, everything. We got your back. Many of us arrive to this work because of our lived experience, because of our personal connection. In addition to having that, I also got to experience, like many of you, seeing it with students every day. I was an adjunct professor for many years, got to work in food justice through the food banking world, also got to work in human-based, poverty alleviation missions throughout my career. And we know that our college students are experiencing all of that. They have their higher education work that they're doing, their academic goals they're pursuing, but they're also out here in the community. We know that college students today are working, they're caregivers, they are doing all of the life. So we want to make sure that we address that and support them where we can, which is where this topic comes from. And I know it feels tough, right? When you are looking at your usage rates in your pantry or your other anti-hunger programs, you might be seeing what many of our partners are seeing and reporting, which is about 30 to 50% usage increase rates. So you're probably pretty exhausted. You're probably ready for a little bit of a break. And this topic can feel heavy, can feel stressful. Our intent is not that they are feeling like another thing on your to-do list. The intent is that they are idea generating, that they help you build community, that you feel connected to one another. We really want you to feel as though you're not alone in this work, not only with team members from Swipe Out Hunger, but also with the community that's here today and the other 899 partners in our network. So please know that we're, again, championing you. So thanks for sticking with this shared mission. I know it's been a tough year. 2025 is almost over with. You've almost made it. You're getting there. Hopefully, you get some rest, you get some restoration time. We know that you're wearing lots of different hats. You're taking on probably expanding roles. You are in an environment that seems like it's changing every single day, and that feels exhausting. And you all have kept up building resources that keep students engaged in the long term. We know that you are doing more with less every single day. Your creativity is incredible. So take a moment over the next month, make sure you get some downtime. We can't do this without you. The students can't be here without you. We need you to help build a different system, something that feels supported, something that feels resourced, and something that helps you do your work every single day better. So thank you for being here. Thanks for listening to me for a few minutes. But we've got a great agenda, as London has already pitched. So let me kick it over to you, London. Take it away.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jamie. That was such a wonderful introduction to our conversation. And I think it gives us a good foundation of understanding that, again, these are great resources, but every campus is different. And when it comes to food acquisition, there are so many barriers that differ on case by case basis. So um, I would be interested in hearing more about how your campus is experiencing food insecurity during breaks and what the reasonings of those are. So, below, I've listed some of the top reasons that are listed in various sources. Athletics are a big one, obviously, research, internships, being unhoused, international student status, having lease agreements on campus, family dynamics, and travel costs. These are some of the big ones, but obviously, like I said before, every person is different. Every person's reasoning for needing to be on campus is different. And as a result, these is definitely not, absolutely conclusive of everyone. But I'd be interested in hearing more about your campus and what you've been experiencing in working with students who are living on campus. So we're going to do a quick poll. It should pop up on your screen. And the question is, what do you think is the number one reason that you're seeing on your campus for students staying on break? Um, and yeah, I would just be interested in hearing like what you are seeing amongst the students you're working with. And then at the end, I'll share out to the group. So go ahead and answer as much as you can. And if you notice that there's an option that you're seeing but isn't represented in any of these options, go ahead and drop it in the chat too. So far, we're seeing a lead with travel costs. In the chat, I'm seeing international students. Your campus doesn't have on-campus housing. Understood. Even if your campus does not have housing, we're going to be covering some other solutions that are not specific to residential campuses at all. Because whether or not students are staying on campus during the break doesn't really, erase the fact that there are students who are going home and are being hungry at home as well. All right, again, I'm seeing travel costs in the lead, international students, athletes, and a combo of family dynamics with travel costs. Yeah, I mean, those flights, ridiculous. And obviously, our our airports are also very crazy right now, too. So it's just, there's a lot of challenges with traveling going on, even if you don't have to take a flight. Amtraks are crazy, too. I was looking at Amtraks the other day, and it was ridiculous. So, I mean, if you're a student that's working on, federal work study, you can only work 10 hours a week. I mean, how do you save for those sorts of things? Well, I'm going to end the poll here. But out of all of the responses, it seems like travel costs are the number one result. You should be able to see that on your screen now. But I think it is, like everyone is sharing, a combination of things. Oftentimes students are experiencing a number of these things at the same time, and they're just playing off of each other. So I appreciate you sharing that. Um, and we're going to go ahead with the next slide. Which brings us to our toolkit, the Hunger Doesn't Take Breaks toolkit. This is a really wonderful resource in understanding the best practices that you can be implementing into your campus to better support students during these break periods, whether or not they're staying on campus or not. And also create a sense of dignity and belonging. If students are hungry during break, chances are they're also experiencing social isolation and loneliness. And so it's really important that in addition to providing these resources, we're also thinking about, what does this make students conclude about their institution and how their institutions are showing up for them even when they aren't on campus. So go ahead and scan that QR code if you're interested. There's some really wonderful resources in there, and I definitely think they're applicable to every campus. But to go over a few that are in there, I think one of the first ones that I definitely felt was a really important solution was sharing off-campus resources available during the break. And both of these, I think, are important for basic needs, but also for different socialization opportunities. If you have a student that you know is staying on campus during the break, chances are that the opportunities for engagement with other students who are living on campus are pretty minimal. A lot of the time, students are finding connection in dining halls, and as we know, dining halls are oftentimes not running at full operational status during these breaks. And so, finding someone, especially during these breaks, that are really centered around sharing meals and having that sort of like community care, it's really important that students know that there are resources both on and off campus for that. And I think a great way of finding those resources is obviously the website findhelp.com. There's a plethora of different food pantry, but also community kitchen opportunities that are listed there. In addition to that, hosting internal programming for students is also a great opportunity to connect with them. And that can be, like I said, in the form of a community meal, but also in doing different distribution methods that are really targeted towards the students who are going to be, experiencing food insecurity during their breaks. And so some of these solutions look like providing grocery gift cards or vouchers, allocating some of your budget towards that at the beginning of the year is a good practice because when it comes down to the end of the year, oftentimes, we're looking at pretty limited budgets, but planning for that in advance is a really great means of ensuring that you have a plan once it comes this time of year. In addition to that, holiday meal kits are a great way of also taking away the responsibility aspect of trying to create a whole meal. I mean, I know for Thanksgiving, I'm lucky enough to have a huge community of people who are all bringing a plate in. But if it's just you, it's a lot of work. So, doing something as simple as creating little meal kits that provide students with the basic essentials for things like holiday meals is a really wonderful way to ensure that students are having what they need to do these sort of practices on their own. And moving on, I would love to hear again from you all about what approaches you've been doing on your campus that have really worked to ensure that your students have what they need during the breaks. And again, this can range from examples that we've already listed, but also things that you've done that you've noticed have worked and just want to share to the broader network. So you can go ahead and scan that QR code, which will then take you to a word bubble, which I will now share my screen so you all can see. Here we are. And so, yeah, you can go ahead and scan that QR code, enter this code, and it just gives us a good opportunity to see where everybody's coming from, what they're doing, and how it's working. And as you can see, they'll start to generate on the screen. So far I'm seeing offer extra pickups, food before the end of the year. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. This was actually really important for me as a student. When I was staying on campus, there really weren't other students that were. And so I reached out and asked if there was some sort of solution from the dining hall that I could pick up beforehand. And they didn't have a system for that, but they realized it was a need. And so, again, those extra pickups are essential. Community, absolutely. Like I said, yeah, community is a big one. I think that feeling alone during these holidays is a really challenging feeling for a lot of these students. And chosen family dinners, I love that. I'm seeing Rotary and Kiwanis, so other local resources, bags, yeah, bagged programs. Yeah, consolidating those resources is really helpful. I think that something that I've seen other schools do is, in addition to those bags, including kind of a printout of local resources and recipes that can be used with the food that is given in those bags. And that seems to be a really roundabout way to connect everybody. Social media, pantries, partnerships, staying open as much as you can. Absolutely. And we realize that's a challenge, though. I mean, it's not just holidays for them, but it's also holidays for you all. And so there's only so much that can be done in that sense. But luckily, we'll be hearing about some other solutions after this that allow for that. Mobile pickups. I'd be interested in hearing more about that mobile pickups solution that somebody entered in the chat. Advertisements, meals, resources, media. Yeah, I think we're all on the same page. It's really it's really important that again, tangible physical resources are paired with some of those social and emotional ones as well. Well, that's wonderful. I'm going to give one more second for folks to add if they had any other suggestions that they wanted to. But even after I close this, you can also continue to add your suggestions into the chat. Perfect. Well, I'm going to close this up, but we can go ahead and head back to our slides. Thank you so much for all those suggestions. I definitely learned a lot from that. With that in mind, I think the reason that I asked about the mobile pickup solution is, like I said, this is a holiday for everyone. And so if you are a administrator or staff member that is working and managing these food pantries, it's important that you also have the space to celebrate those as well. And what has been a really valuable solution for a lot of our partner campuses is having technology that really fills in the gaps that people just can't do during these times. And so one of those being Quadient, which we have recently teamed up with to make food access easier and stigma free. They have these smart refrigerated lockers that are integrated with PantrySoft, which enable schools to safely and discreetly distribute foods to students, especially during these breaks. And so we wanted to bring out that eligible partners have a 20% off discount for their smart locker purchases through their partnership with us. And we're going to get into this a little bit more in depth to understand how these systems work, why they're addressing food insecurity during breaks, and how you can learn more information about how this can be addressing food insecurity on your campus. So, in doing so, I would love to introduce Brian Barry. He's the higher education parcel specialist at Parcel Pending by Quadient. For the past 5 years, Brian has been working with Parcel Pending by Quadient, where he specializes in higher education parcel logistics. His extensive knowledge and dedication makes him a trusted expert in streamlining logistics and supporting the unique parcel management needs of higher education institutions. So, if you all could join me in welcoming Brian, that would be wonderful. And let's see. Go ahead and take it away, Brian. I'm sorry,
Sorry,
Brian, you got
I had to unmute.
it.
Thank you, London. I
Of
appreciate
course.
it. That was a very nice introduction, and welcome to everybody. I'm very excited to be here today. Um, so I was watching those the bubbles and listening to London talk about mobile pickups and what to do with breaks and that kind of thing. So from a food pantry perspective, I think it's a little more than that. I think it's not just how do we handle breaks, but it's really how do we provide some technology solutions that allow for a very discrete pickup and more importantly, and I think the most important thing is a one that's not limited to your hours. When I look at most of the food pantries that I deal with, the hours sometimes are, hey, it's 2 to 4 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or it's 2 hours on Tuesday and 3 hours on Friday, and sometimes faculty and staff have separate hours from when students have hours, etc. And what the lockers provide really is unlimited access as long as they are located in a building that has unlimited access. But if they're in a building that has, you know, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Access to students, faculty, and staff, that's when they're going to be able to pick up their basic needs items that you'll place in there. And so it is about perishable, but it's also about non-perishable delivery of basic need items. So as we, kind of talk with some of our clients across the country, this is fairly anecdotal, but um, we're hearing that they're serving approximately 15% more students than they were prior to adding in lockers. And so that's compelling to begin with. It's kind of it's a uh, it's a testament to, hey, maybe there's more people on your campus that need help than you were aware of, and certainly maybe there's some folks that hesitate because of what they feel is a stigma about picking up food at a food pantry. And so this becomes a very discreet way for them to kind of get beyond that. We have lockers in approximately 45 um, schools across the country. And, that only started, I think we placed our first one in food pantries just a couple of years ago. And so I think it was just like 2 years ago we placed our first one in a food pantry. And so this growth is just tremendous, and it's growing as, kind of as we speak. You can go on to the next one. Um, so, how does it work? And again, I'm going to show you kind of two different workflows as to how the locker banks work. The first one um, allows somebody on the staff of the food pantry to take the delivery to the locker bank. Inside of that locker bank, you'll see a screen in the middle. That's a touchpad screen. And you'll have a list of all your students or faculty or staff or just virtually anybody that you're serving. Um, and so what they'll do is they'll start typing in either a code or the last name. If you're looking for, discretion beyond the person's name, we can use something else as an identifier. And when that person comes up, they'll choose the name and they'll say, I need a medium-sized locker, I need a refrigerated locker, I need a large size locker, and the system will then pop open the door, and the staff person will put it in and close the door. Once they close the door, that parcel number, which box it's in, et cetera, goes back into our software, and our software sends out a message to that end user. Now, that end user will receive an email and or a text. So at a very minimum, we required an email for them because that's really the most reliable way to communicate with folks. And then optionally, we can put a text number in there so that they can receive a text. Inside of that email or text will be a barcode and a numeric code. They walk up to the lockers, they scan that barcode, the door pops open, they take their package, they close the door, and it's done. So it's really a very, very simple operation. It's probably about, in this scenario, about 20 or 30 seconds for the staff person to load the box, and it's probably 4 or 5, maybe 10 seconds for the recipient to empty the box. So if you want to move to the next one, I'm going to show you a different workflow. So we also have a relationship with PantrySoft, and we have built an integration with PantrySoft. And this kind of allows that next level of technology to kick in. So with PantrySoft, you can go online, identify yourself online, and place an order. And that order, your inventory gets updated based on what you have in stock inside of PantrySoft. The difference becomes at that point, after you place your order, PantrySoft will send that information for that package to our parcel locker software. Once the staff assembles that order, you're going to walk out to the lockers and have a label from PantrySoft that goes on the outside of that package. That label has a barcode on it. You just scan it quickly, the door pops open, you place it in, close the door, and the rest of it kind of remains the same. Except at the end of the transaction, it sends an information back to PantrySoft that kind of keeps that chain of custody archived. And so, PantrySoft not only does the communication for us to the end user, but it's also kind of keeping that whole transactional piece that says, this package was ordered, this package was fulfilled, it was placed in the lockers, and then here's the date and time that it was picked up. So, by the way, I didn't mention earlier, if you have any questions, feel free to jump in or either verbally or put them into the chat, and we'll get them answered. So that's kind of the workflow. Now, there's an engagement process for us, and the engagement process really is we try to make it as simple as possible. I'm one of 6 people across the country. I cover 7 different states, and each one of my teammates also covers a similar amount of territory. Um, our VP of higher education is Rob Zinski. His name and email address are right there. So all you really need to do, we're trying to make it as simple as possible, is reach out to Rob, and Rob will make sure that he distributes your name to one of us, and then we'll reach out and we'll start the process. So it really is, we try to make it as simple as possible. We want to, other than finding the funding, which I'm not minimizing that effort, but other than finding the funding, we really do all of the heavy lifting. We start with a discovery call. It's a conversation with you about, how many recipients you have, what you think you're missing, what you might need in terms of boxes, whether they're room temperature or refrigerated. Are you serving, perishables today? What are your hours today? What kind of uh, um, access are you getting from those students? And so that's kind of the discovery call. And then we'd like to do an on-site analysis. So we would come out to your site, we'd take some pictures, take some measurements, look for a uh, um, a great spot for on the campus to place the lockers. We want to make it convenient to the food pantry or where the food is stored. And then we also want to make it convenient to the population that we're trying to serve. So we kind of sometimes there's a delicate balance there. It might be in a different building. Ideally it would be in the same building. So we do that on-site analysis, and then we deliver a business case. And that business case really is kind of all the information that we got in the discovery, as well as a recommendation for a certain number of boxes, certain number of refrigerated boxes, certain number of room temperature boxes, and then of course the pricing, which would include the promotion that we're talking about, or that London mentioned earlier. Um, at that point, we'll get an order signed and submitted, and then we assign a project manager. That project manager takes over all of the aspects of getting shipping and implementation and all of those things. So at the end of the day, getting the funding is the most important thing from your perspective. The rest of it really is something that we walk you through and like I said, do most of the heavy lifting.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Brian, for going over
Mhm.
all of that. I
Mhm.
wanted to really open it up to our attendees. If you have
Mhm.
any questions, go ahead and either drop those in the chat, or if you would like to be unmuted so that you can ask it audibly, go ahead and just also put that in the chat. This is a really great opportunity for you all to talk to the people who are, know it all and know what it takes to get this implemented onto your campus and what it's done for other campuses as well. So please do ask any questions you may have in the chat below.
Brian, in
I see
case you
that's,
didn't see it,
yeah, go ahead.
Barbara, you probably were about to comment on the same one. Barbara Sweeney said that they're meeting with their
Mhm.
Quadient rep on Thursday. So
Yeah, I saw that.
amazing.
And so, Barbara, I see that you're already using a Google form. So if you're not using, a Pantry Soft or something like that, we have the ability really to integrate with just about anything. So your rep will probably pull one of our technology specialists in to see what you're using and how we can kind of make that process go a little smoother for you.
It's amazing. We did get another question in the chat that says, "Do y'all have prices list?"
So we because there's so many variables in the different numbers of towers and all of that. We are first of all we are on the Sourcewell contract, which Sourcewell is a nationwide group purchasing organization that serves higher education as well as just nonprofits. And so we start with that from a terms and conditions perspective, but there is published pricing there. The 20% off that we talked about a little bit earlier is more aggressive than what you'll see in that contract pricing. But we do a specific quote for every individual installation because there's just a lot of variables with what boxes are we going to place, what are we integrating with from a software perspective. We literally integrate with dozens of technologies and they take, your individual case might be a little bit different than the next one.
Absolutely. That makes
Yeah.
so much sense.
Yeah.
Well, I will recommend that if you want to hear more about a quote, you definitely should reach out to the
Mhm.
contact that's on this page. We also got
Mhm.
another comment from Barbara saying that the dining services uses Pantry Soft too. So that's amazing to hear. And I think that that was really what drew me to this resource was I
Mhm.
know that in my experience managing pantries, PantrySoft has been crucial for logistics. And so hearing that that is something that's intentionally been integrated into these systems is like so telling of how efficient it is. And I'm like wishing that it was on my campus when I was a student. um, any other questions in the chat?
We also have, and London, maybe we could figure out a way to get it out to everybody. We do have a link that we can send out to our basic needs portion of our website at Parcel Pending by Quadient. And so we've got a bunch of information in there, some information that people have used when they're justifying cost expenditures to leadership and other stakeholders throughout a college or university.
Absolutely. After this, I can send out a follow-up email to all the
Hmm.
participants with that link,
Hmm.
and also just more information about connecting back to Rob and, hearing more about what is possible for these campuses.
Hmm. There are also grants out there, and most schools have grant writers who do an awful lot of investigation around what grants might be available, and most of them are state-based, so it's kind of hard for us to keep track of 50 different states. But in terms of the grants, a lot of our food pantry lockers have been paid for by technology grants.
Mm,
Um,
that's a good point.
mhm.
And the good news is we do have swipe grants as well. So Brian, folks on this call probably also applied for the Swipe Out Hunger grants every fall. It might be at least a head start into getting into such a wonderful system. So Brian, thank you so much for being here. It was lovely
It's my
to
pleasure.
hear from you. And I have this like really wonderful thing I get to do next, which is just like put everyone on pins and needles because I'm going to say some words and draw it out and have it be really long before we do a drum roll and then announce the winner. So, Brian, I'm going to talk a little bit about what your partnership has meant to us and why this is such a powerful opportunity. So, thank you again for
Mhm.
explaining how folks can get more information about Quadient.
Thank you. Very
This
excited to be here.
Thank you, Brian. This opportunity was something that Quadient and our programs team fostered together and was really inspired by the meaning or the reasoning behind Giving Tuesday. So Giving Tuesday was a a nationwide day to inspire giving at all financial levels. It's very grassroots. The intent is to drive positive change within our community. And we thought the partnership with Quadient was a great representation of that opportunity. A few years ago, Swipe Out Hunger embraced community-centric fundraising principles. So we started to look for opportunities that can encourage direct to campus donations and how we might be able to amplify some of your capacity. Brian mentioned, many campuses have grant writers or fundraising offices, and we also know that many of you are writing those grants yourselves. So anything that Swipe Out Hunger can do to kind of help connect you to those resources is something that we wanted to prioritize. Again, because of that collaborative goal, we wanted to amplify the great work you're doing. So the team decided to highlight three schools: University of Vermont, University of Houston, Northeastern State. I'm sorry, Georgia State. I copied and pasted the wrong schools because I have my cheat sheet here. So London will double check me. Vermont, Houston, Middle Georgia, right?
Yes.
I was trying to sneak in some other schools. Y'all didn't even
No,
know
it's
you were
okay.
in there, not even competing. But we wanted to make sure that three schools got their stories and their great work amplified. So we hope all three of those schools had an opportunity to engage with the community. So thank you all for your hard work. Again, you're going to be so tired of hearing me say that, but I know that the work you do is thankless. So I know you'll be fine. But I'm going to make London announce the winner so that there's no like proverbial tomatoes thrown my way, no favoritism. And like in your mind, just do a drum roll.
Yes, drum rolls are important. Um, After receiving thousands of votes, one school in particular received 2,424 votes. Um, and we are very excited to announce our winner. Drum roll. Middle Georgia State University.
Whoop, whoop,
Congratulations.
whoop.
You have won a Quadient Basic Needs refrigerator locker system for your campus. We just thank you for all of your ongoing efforts for addressing student food insecurity. And we are really, really excited to continue this partnership with you all and see how, a resource like Quadient can really change the experience for your students both during breaks and off, like it was mentioned. This is a wonderful resource that really has dignity in mind, and this is what campus that is really focused on that. So thank you so much. And to wrap up, we wanted to both, if there is a Middle Georgia State University representative who would like to say a couple words, if you are interested, we can go ahead and unmute you. Give me one moment. Are you interested in saying anything, Jeremy? I don't want to put you on the spot. Perfect. All right, I'll go ahead and give me one moment. Keep on bouncing around. All right, you have been unmuted. I would love to introduce everybody to Jeremy. Thank you so much for coming and accepting this award.
Hey, we are so excited. Thank you guys so much. And I also want to thank everybody else involved for their efforts in what they do in serving our students. So just thank you guys again so much. We are truly, truly appreciative.
Wonderful. Thank you. I mean, 2,000 votes is pretty substantial. You guys were really able to round up students, and that's really what this is all about, is connecting and um, just really rewarding you for the great work that has been done on your campus.
So we should all have a site check. We should have a field trip down to Macon, right?
Yeah.
Come see Jeremy.
Come on.
We'll make our way down there. It's great to hear. Well, thank you so much again, Jeremy. Really appreciate you and all of your work.
Thank you guys.
Alrighty. I am going to go ahead and go back to our slides now. So after all that excitement, we have more exciting things, namely being the Campus Leader Survey. we're always going to be bringing it up no matter what the swipe session is, because this is really, really crucial for us in understanding the needs of all of our partner agencies right now. And knowing what is going on in your individual campuses, because we can't know where to help if we don't know what's going on. So again, if you haven't done that yet, I urge you to fill out that form. It's pretty simple. If there is any information that you find that you don't have for it, you can absolutely put that you don't have numbers for that. Any info is good info. In addition to that, we also have our campus leader newsletter, which is a great resource for knowing all that is going on with us here at Swipe. And also, in addition to that, things that are happening maybe in your more localized community. Those campus newsletters are different each month, depending on different topics and what's going on nationally. In addition to that, we are going to be doing our January swipe session about international students. We'll be sending out a link for that shortly. So keep an eye on for that. It's going to be January 15th, I believe, 13th. I will send out a link after this, so don't worry about that. But I did want to, again, let everybody know that if you are interested in hearing more about Quadient, even if you don't have the funds allocated yet, it's a really great opportunity to just connect with them and hear about what resources they have and how they can get them on your campus. I really would urge you to reach out to Rob so that you can possibly be reconnected to Brian or one of the other service agents that is working with their local communities to get these refrigerated locker systems onto their campus. And maybe you can be like Middle Georgia and have this wonderful resource. So by all means, we just wanted to let you all know about this resource. And I'm so thankful that you all were able to attend. If you have any questions, we do have some remaining time. So go ahead and hop on if you do. I can unmute you. Go ahead and just drop a chat if you're interested in any of that. But otherwise, be in our corner. Follow us on Instagram, on Twitter. And yeah, if you are interested in being in our network and this was more of a feeler call for you and you aren't in our network yet, go ahead and fill out our partnership agreement that is on our website. But if you do have any questions about that or anything relating to programs here at Swipe Out Hunger, you can go ahead and shoot me an email. It's london@swipehunger.org. And yeah, subscribe to our newsletter. This one's a little bit different than the campus newsletter one, but absolutely so crucial to know what's going on in the swipe world, because we are all learning from each other. It's a hard time, and there's definitely some challenges that are happening all across the nation, but we can learn so much when we have each other in our corners. So thank you all so much for attending today. You'd like to join partnership agreement. All right, Chris, I will take down your info and reach out to you after this. If there's anybody else that would like more information and would like me to reach out to you, please, by all means, drop it in the chat now and I'll shoot you a quick email with some preliminary information and we can go from there. All right, look at this coming in the chat. Love to see it. I will be sure to reach out to you too. Oh, and look at Courtney in the chat with the link. Thank you. That is absolutely wonderful. I was on the side trying to find that, but it is a little bit challenging navigating all of these platforms. So thank you so much for your assistance. And yes, have a wonderful holiday season. If any of you have any questions during this break, please reach out. It's been really, really wonderful just talking about this topic and getting the space too. I think that, as a student that was hungry during breaks, it feels really fortifying to know that so many administrators are interested in figuring out what they can do to be supporting these students. So kudos to you all. Congratulations for all your hard work. And it's great to be in your network.
Thanks, everyone.
Wonderful.
Thanks again, Brian. Thanks, Quadient.
Yes. Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Be in touch. Have a great
Take
one,
care. Enjoy
everybody.
the holidays.
Thank you. You too.